Welcome everybody to another movie review. We haven't done one since Uncut Gems, and that's not really what I do on this channel when it comes to movies and stuff, but today I thought I'd make an exception because I saw probably one of the best animated movies I've seen in a while since the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, which is actually really good. This is really close comparisons in terms of a great animated action film, and it's My Hero Academia Hero Rising. So, My Hero Academia Heroes Rising is actually the second movie. The first one, My Hero Academia 2 Heroes was the first movie, which actually wasn't too bad. It was definitely a little bit more bland compared to this movie when it's in terms of a crazy villain. So, I'm not going to spoil anything till later in the video. If you guys want to see the spoilers, I'll put a screen before the spoilers come out, as well as a timestamp down in the description if you guys really want to figure out what's going on. I hate spoiling, but this one is good, especially if you guys want to have a little bit more insight, especially what My Hero Academia Heroes Rising is about. So, a little backstory. So, Deku is, I'm not really sure. I think this is after season 4 is over. This one really focuses around Deku and Bakugo. Everyone else kind of seems a lot weaker in terms of like powers and stuff like that. It's in between a summer class. They're basically sent on this island they're meant to protect, although no crime has happened in the last 30 years. So the teachers actually sent them there, and they didn't think anything bad was going to happen. Well, spoiler alert, stuff does happen, and we'll dig into that later when into the spoiler videos. But honestly, the writing, the pacing of the movie is all phenomenal. At first, it kind of seems like it's going to be a My Hero Academia like episode, but if this was perfect for a movie because the pacing and everything was actually exceptionally well. Before I even get too far, this is a must-watch because this movie was absolutely fantastic. All the characters had their kind of shining moment, especially when it comes down to the movie detail. Mineta even has a significant role inside of this movie. The only person that really never has a shining moment is the invisible chick. I forget what her name is. But yeah, like everyone has their shining moment, which is actually awesome, honestly. And that's always something that I've liked, especially with the beginning of season 4 of My Hero Academia. If you guys haven't watched that, everyone kind of has their shining moment, except for, of course, Bakugo and Todoroki. And Todoroki doesn't even really have a very good part inside of the My Hero Academia movie, which is kind of upsetting because Todoroki is one of my favorite characters. But definitely this movie centers around Deku and Bakugo. So that's mainly the one thing. Obviously, the whole show has been focused around Deku and Bakugo. That's how the show is going to continue to be. I don't see that changing for a long time. It is a extremely well-written movie, and let's get into some of the story stuff. Kind of spoilers, so I'll put a disclaimer here. If you guys don't want to hear anything about the movie, turn back, because here we go. Go from the beginning all the way to the end. So the Islanders are basically taking advantage of the heroes, and they're just helping Granny out and all this. There's actually a lot of humor in this movie too, which is actually pretty good. They're kind of running around helping out the Islanders. The Islanders give them food, stuff like that, trying to help out the heroes from Class 1A to basically just shine, help out their hero powers, show off what they can do. Basically, there's a help that comes over, and this girl reports her brother missing, and Deku, Uraka, and I forget who else it was, Jiro, to help find her little brother, and her little brother was just pretty much hiding not too far away, and her sister just set him up to see how the heroes would try and help them. Didn't help out too well. She gets upset, and that's pretty much the premise of the beginning of the movie. The heroes help. They're not good enough, and she's just toying around with Deku and her classmates. But it is kind of cool to see, how well they've developed. There is some, like, if you haven't seen like season 4 or the manga, I guess not seeing most of the manga, I didn't really see many spoilers. I would definitely recommend going to check out, at least watch to the current point in season 4, because there is a lot of things that could be potential spoilers. I've already watched the most current season 4 up to date, and now, so I mean, that's really what it is. It starts off pretty decent, pretty modern, nothing really going on. And then about 30 minutes in, probably, boom, the action starts happening. In the beginning, too, the villains are actually transporting this luggage thing, which looks kind of like, it kind of reminds you of All for One with this kind of headgear. But apparently they did some sort of medical experiment. Basically, looks like a kind of person that looks like All for One, which is one of the villains of My Hero Academia. Basically, like the most craziest villain that they have. And kind of looks like that. Don't really know much about him. And then all of a sudden, you see the heroes actually are trying to track him down because he's actually stealing people's quirks, and he's actually really powerful. You see like lightning coming down and like destroying cities and stuff. So it's pretty cool that that happens. And apparently, he tries to take this one guy's quirk, and his son, which is actually the guy on the island with Deku and all of his friends, they go here to steal his son's quirk, which is like they don't know of yet, but you'll find out later in the video why he goes to take his quirk. So they end up getting there, starting to wreak havoc. The villains split up, which is always the worst thing to do. And basically, Class 1A goes there and tries to stop them. Everyone has their shiny moment from, like I said, the weakest character all the way up to Deku and Bakugo. And honestly, there were some pretty cool villains in this movie. I don't really even know what some of their names were, but one girl had like knife hair, and one had was like a wolf that was like a chimera that shot fire. It was pretty insane, honestly. There was a lot of cool quirks that were in here, and you learned about a lot of weird stuff, especially from the League of Villains. But basically, this person's trying to steal this kid's quirk. Deku is attacking him, basically finding out that he has more than one quirk, which you pretty much already came to figure that he's basically just like All for One, which is kind of interesting why this is actually happening. But well, probably, I mean, maybe that's what the manga has to do with it. But without having to have the manga in this, it actually makes sense, like without reading anything. To come to find out, Deku and Bakugo go to attack this new guy. His name is Nine, and basically they're not leaving a scratch. He has like this air wind ability. He can shoot like lasers out of his fingertips. He can shoot down lightning. As far as we know, that's pretty much about it. That, and he can like see things through walls and blood types, because he can only take certain blood types from certain people, because he tries to take Deku's quirk, but it doesn't work exactly because he might not have the same blood, or no, he had too much power for him to absorb. That's what it was. Deku and Bakugo get screwed up. Bakugo gets his ribs broke, and Deku gets shot with his fingertip ability. The kids run away, and then they flee, finding out that they're going after this little kid's quirk. They come up with like a backup plan, and they find out that Nine, who's trying to use his powers, actually has something wrong with him. He was dying before this for whatever reason, not really sure why. But he like is starting to die, and the only way he can actually live is with the cell regenerating quirk, and that's why when he starts to use his quirk, he starts to get exhausted. They come up with a backup plan. I mean, Uraka has moves. The tape guy, I'm just starting to blank. I'm not trying to research names. I'm going off the fly here. Everyone has their part. Basically, they're attacking this Chimera, and Todoroki basically seems like a chump to this guy for quite a while until he gets an opening, and then he actually goes crazy. And Red Riot, I forget he was in there too. It just like, it seems like, I feel like Todoroki is the strongest of the heroes. Although, I mean, Deku becomes number one. That's what they keep saying throughout the whole anime series. And of course, Bakugo is trying to be the number one hero as well. So there's always going to be that like kind of sibling rivalry among the friends. And that was the one thing, like they made these characters seem like such chumps. Like there's like four people attacking one, but they are strong villains with really overpowered powers. and they happened to get this like mummy guy. It was actually, his quirk was cool. He could like basically wrap his yarn around any inanimate object, make it come to life, and do his bidding. He could also attack other people, but not steal their quirks. He took Bakugo. He used him to block stuff, and he could, yeah, it was cool. And yeah, I mean, everyone has their way. I mean, it's a really good action packed movie with a super awesome conclusion, which we're gonna actually talk about right now. So if you guys don't want to hear any of the super bad spoilers, click off now. Watch the movie, come back later. We can all discuss this and talk about the review score at the end. Yeah, so Deku and Bakugo going to beat him. Everyone's doing their part. They separate the villains because they're coming right up the gut, and they're attacking him. It seems like it's going to be their final strike. They get struck down by lightning. They're about to steal the kid. He grabs, and then they find out that he's really weak. That's Nine that I'm talking about. Nine's really weak. He grabs the younger boy's sister to try and kill her so he can get his quirk, because he needs his quirk to survive. He's about to grab the kid. Deku and Bakugo come in, swoop in, and take him, and they do a pretty good hit. And then he uses like these things in the back of him that like boost his quirk, that make him go all like crazy. And they basically get trapped underneath one of his quirks, which is like Blue Eyes White Dragon or something. And the dragons like grab Deku and Bakugo, and they're about to die. And this is the part that kind of made me upset for a while until the end, which we'll get into. They're like about to die, and Deku and Bakugo touch fingertips, and he trades one for all with Bakugo, and basically the both of them go extreme Super Saiyan God. Deku basically goes Super Saiyan God. Bakugo goes like Super Saiyan, and they both like do insane, crazy. I wish I could show you guys this insane. It was the most insane shit I've ever seen in anime, ever. That was the most craziest crap I've ever seen. And basically, they put an end to Nine, and Deku loses one for all. And I was pretty pissed the whole time because Bakugo now has one for all, and did like crazy moves, all this other crap. All Might and one of the new heroes, Hawkeye, and then the fire fades from Deku. He doesn't have All for One anymore, and he explains to All Might that he made a mistake. He had to do it, or else he would have died, and everyone would have been lost, and all this other stuff. And All Might basically was like, "Yeah, it's okay. You know, you did what you had to do." And then Deku passes out, and they're both passed out. And then All for One comes back, or One for All comes back into Deku, and he gets his powers back. I knew that it was gonna happen, but it was just It pissed me off because I didn't think it was gonna happen. You know, what happened if Deku would have lost his powers for good? Like, he would have been back to a near mortal status. You know, going back and wanting to become a hero. You know, that would have been really shitty. And I didn't think it was gonna be the end either way, but like at the same time, like burning deep within me, I was like, man, this fucking sucks. I was really upset for a little bit there, but he gets his powers back. He defeats the super evil villain, but Nine happens to somehow not die. Is crawling away, and then Tomaru, the guy from the League of Villains with the hand on his face, basically disintegrates him and says that there can only be one leader, and then a leader of the new world, and then kills him. So that's the end of the movie. And I expected something to happen at the end credits. There was no end credits or anything like that. But it was an amazing, amazing, amazing movie. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. And definitely way better than the first movie ever could be. The first movie was pretty good with his final boss, but in terms of action, actual full-fledged action-packed anime, this was so much better than the first movie by far. Definitely 9.5 out of 10. The reason I give it a 9.5, not a perfect 10, because the transferring of quirk, and in the beginning of the movie is not really a lot of going on. It is quite funny though, I will say. But if you guys watch the movie, what did you guys think of the My Hero Academia Heroes Rising movie? Was it as good as I thought it was? Did you guys think it was awesome? What do you guys think of season 4 so far, if you guys are watching? What are you guys thinking about of the manga? If you guys are reading that, I have not started reading that. I will probably at the end of season 4. Yeah. So tell me what you guys think. Let me know what's going on, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.